Hello, I'm Chris. Welcome to the Southern Bourbon and Whiskey Talk channel. Today in episode 4, we're going to do a review on one of my favorite products, Old Forester 1920. Before we get started, I'd like to thank all of my subscribers up until this point. We're about a little over 3 weeks into this channel. Now on video number 4, and we have 20 subscribers. It's not a lot, but I'm really thankful and want to show my appreciation to those that support this channel. Before we start talking about Old Forester 1920, if this is your first time out here on the channel, I'd like to ask you to subscribe to the channel and hit the alert button so that you get notifications of when new episodes are posted. Also, if you like the content of the video, hit the like button and even comment on your thoughts on Old Forester 1920 if you've had it, any other Old Forester products you may have experience with, or just some other bourbons that you like, not the daily sippers, but those that you'll pull out after a long week just to wind down or watching your favorite sports team play. All right, so let's get into Old Forester and talk a little bit about the distillery and the history. So Old Forester was established in 1870. And it was founded by a gentleman by the name of George Garvin Brown. And if any of you have heard of or tried to buy or have bought an Old Forester product called Birthday Bourbon, that's after George Garvin Brown's birthday, which is in early September. So I know the bourbon has a huge following. Old Forester had a lottery online that you could sign up for it for the first time this year other than waiting in line, which I really liked and thought it was a great idea. Unfortunately, between me, my wife, and my daughter, we weren't the lucky ones, and if you were, congratulations, and I hope you enjoy the product. So the other interesting fact about Old Forester is it is known as the first bottled bourbon. So that is kind of interesting. Now, on to the Whiskey Row line, which is where 1920 falls into. So there's 4 products in that Whiskey Row line. 1870 is one of them, and that's a 90 proof product, and honestly I've never had that, and I'd like to try it at some point. The next 3 I have had. 1897 is a bottled and bond 100 proof product, and it's really good, and it's a very smooth sipper. 1910, Old Forester 1910 is the newest addition to the Whiskey Row line, and it's a 93 proof double barrel or double oak bourbon, and it's a delicious double oak product, and to me it's right up there with one of the most famous ones, Woodford Reserve double oak. It's right along the same price line in that $50–$55 range. So 1910 is a delicious product. And sometimes I have a hard time deciding, do I like 1910 or 1920 better? It just depends on what kind of mood I'm in, if you would, right? So now to the Cat Daddy. What we're going to talk about is this Old Forester 1920 product. And Old Forester 1920, it's a Prohibition style bourbon, and that's what it says on the bottle, and it's 115 proof. So a little history on it, if you're a history buff at all. Around 1920 is that time that Prohibition happened, and there was a a law passed and signed by the president at the time called the Volstead Act, which enacted prohibition. Now, with prohibition, it shut down a lot of distilleries. They did not make whiskey and bourbon for quite a few years. But Old Forester was one of 6 distilleries in the state of Kentucky that was allowed to operate and produce bourbon. And this is kind of funny if you think about it now, for medicinal purposes. So if you had the cold, I guess, or the cough, yeah, go get you some Old Forester or one of these other bourbon products. So sign me up for that one. All right. So another thing about the history of this product going back to 1920 is it was barreled at 100 proof. The distillate was barreled at 100 proof. Now, when they went to bottle it after 4 or 5 years or what have you, it came out at 115 proof. Now, why is that, you ask? Well, it's because of something called the angel share. It's basically where alcohol has evaporated out of the barrel, and the angels got their drink, sort of to speak. So it's 115 proof, and that's where that comes from. Okay, so some of the other common lines that Old Forester has before we get into the tasting and the nosing of the product. They have the traditional 86 proof, which is like a $18, $19 bottle usually. So if you're a beginning bourbon drinker, that's a good place to start. Then they have the 100 proof Old Forester and 100 proof Old Forester rye that goes anywhere from $22 to $25 depending on where you live. And those 2 products are very good for the price. Like I did in my previous review on Wild Turkey 101, the Old Forester 100 proof is a very good product. Now, if you want to step up your game a little bit, that's when you get into the Whiskey Row series with one of those 4 bourbons. So let's talk about this 1920, and let's pour us a Glencairn of 115 proof Old Forester 1920, and talk about what we get off of it. And as you can see, now this is only a 375 milliliter bottle that I got as a part of a Christmas gift from my wife last year that had 3 of the Whiskey Row series products in it, and I've polished off the other 2. So I have a little bit of the 1920 left, right? So let's get into this. Swirl it around. It has a very nice caramel toffee color. So as far as the nose, I get some oak and alcohol. That, you know, it definitely hits you, the oak and the alcohol. 115 proof. It doesn't hide. Get some cherries, like cherry pie filling smell. Like caramels, you know, it kind of reminds me in a way of a caramel pie that when I was younger back in Tennessee, my Aunt Janie would make, and it reminds me a whole lot of that. So has a really good nose on it. All right, so let's get into the palate and the finish on this product. So cheers to everyone out there. Boy, it's a very complex bourbon. Totally different than your traditional sweet bourbons out there. And right up front, you get a little of the alcohol, but it's not offensive. You do get at least I get a lot of like black pepper. And it's well balanced with like that cherry carries through. It's like a creme brulee there for me. So it's very complex. And that pepper comes in for the most part with the rye and the mash bill. So this one, unlike Wild Turkey 101, which is a 13% rye content, this one's 18%. So it's hyped up a little bit, and with 14 more proof points. So that pepper is there, but it's balanced, and so it's a complex product. The finish, much the same. That pepper carries through, and it gives you that Kentucky hug. As soon as it goes down, you can definitely feel that Kentucky hug. And then let me give us one more drink here. So there, I got a little like dark chocolate with it, and a lot of you that are dark chocolate fans know that cayenne pepper and dark chocolate can go well together. So it almost, in a lot of ways, on the finish reminds me of that. So this is very complex. So let's talk about and close out with the bottom line. Again, retired military guy, we believe in the bottom line. The bottom line is, as far as the availability of the product, may be different where you live. It's very hit and miss here whether I can find any of the Whiskey Row products, most specifically the Old Forester 1920. And I would argue probably the 1920, if you ask people, is probably the most popular one. So it's a little difficult to find. It's very hit and miss. The price point on this product ranges from $55 to $60. So as far as I'm concerned, for the quality that you're getting here, like I said, it's very complex. It's a balanced bourbon. I think the price point, it's not bad at all. And so if you're an experienced bourbon drinker and have never had 1920, it's a good buy. Go out there and get it. I would recommend that you do that. Now, if you're brand new to bourbon, it might be something you ease into and everything. Maybe try a pour at a local whiskey bar or a restaurant that has 1920 before you go out there and spend $60 on this. But as far as if you know what this is and you've had it and you're good with a higher rye mash bill, it's a buy. Go out there and do it. And it's a bottle because I'm almost out. I need to go out there and replace it. So it's that good that I want to keep it in my rotation. Along with, and I want to do a review at some point in the future on Old Forester 1910. It's just, to me, it's a night and day difference. 1910 is more of a sweet bomb up front. This is more of a complex, well balanced, and it just gives you that hug right here, right? So that's my bottom line. I love Old Forester products, and I love 1920. So with that, cheers to you, cheers to your family, and good health to everyone. Till the next time, salute.